In my Canva Create 2026 video, I covered a whole bunch of new Canva updates you have to know about, but I feel like I've not had enough time to cover the new video features, since these are some of the most useful things Canva has dropped for content creators and small business owners who want to create more video content without knowing complicated software. I'm bringing you a deep dive today because once you see what's actually possible here, I think you're going to feel a lot more confident about showing up on video and using what you've already got. I'm Natalia and I help creators like you turn content to income, freedom, and a brand you're proud of. So let's do this. So first up, we have Caption Styles. And if you've been using Canva's auto captions feature already, which is one of the best things they've ever dropped and added for video creators, there's a lot of new good stuff here because the library of Caption Styles has been expanded a ton. This gives us so much more flexibility to make your captions feel more on brand and engaging rather than just like this functional text sitting on top of your video. And what's already really helpful is that captions are now accessible directly from the floating toolbar inside the editor, which is if you ever went hunting for the option before, you'll understand why having it right there makes the whole process so much faster. But the update that I'm most excited about here is that captions are now available for audio files too, because we could already record voiceovers and like add audio tracks, but the missing piece was definitely being able to auto caption those, and that's now fixed, which is a really big deal for anyone creating voiceover reels, mini vlogs, audio first post, or just anyone who wants to repurpose voice content into something visual. So I'm in the Canva editor, specifically in the video editor under a video file. And what I want to show you first is how easy it is to access captions with this new update. Now, before, if I wanted to generate captions, I would have to go to text and find them under dynamic text, which is fine. It's still there. However, it's not super accessible. Now, all I need to do is to click on my video and you can see captions available here at the top in the floating panel, which makes everything so much smoother. Now, the most important part is that we have so many new different styles of captions that you can adjust to whatever you like. This is something that is very similar to my style of captions. So what I want to do next is to actually just customize the colors from this panel. Now, I have a specific hex code, but let's not play around with a hex code. I can just jump and use something like this very easily. And you can adjust any of the parameters around it as well. So again, you can see what color corresponds to what part of this caption style, which makes it so much easier to then generate it. So all selected, one suitable, you can see that I can generate these captions now, and all I need to do is to click and that's going to generate it in this new style. Now we can see that the workflow to this point was very similar to the workflow before. However, now we have this very, very extensive library of new styles, which is super cool because again, it helps you be more creative with your captions and make them more engaging for your audience, which again becomes a big part of your style of videos, not just the kind of functionality of the captions themselves. Now, the next part that's changed is that now all the captions actually appear as the text layer on top of your video. So in here, you can see that I can actually adjust the timing of it. So very easily, just as I would with any other text box, these appear on the timeline, which means we have all the power we need to adjust them the way we like. So again, you can see that I can tweak them from the timeline very easily, just like that. And then not only can I still see my captions in here and edit them that way, I can also jump into styles and actually just completely change the style of my captions. So this is a great way to test things out. So it's really cool that I can just jump in and change it to something like this and see the preview of how these captions would work for me. So really great. Try to have fun with these, but I want to show you something that I'm the most excited about, which is our kind of voiceover and audio. And a very quick tip, if you want to record a voiceover very easily to any assets that you've got. So again, I've got this B-roll with voiceover. If I wanted to record something, I can jump into elements, then jump to audio, and you see voiceovers. This is your record a voiceover option, which is super cool because that means I can just jump in here and start recording and talking over my voiceover. And the missing part from before was that I couldn't really generate captions for it. Now, all I have to do is, again, select my audio, go to the top to the captions in here, select a style that I like. I can go for something like this maybe in here, and I can generate for all the suitable media. In here, you can see that this is a very video heavy reel. However, this is the audio that I want to be focused on, and this is the only thing that I want to caption. So I'm not going to caption any of the other stuff. I can choose all videos or all audio, and all audio is the one that I I want to go for in here, I can go ahead and generate my captions and let's see what it gives me. And voila, I can now move them around in here, make them kind of higher up in here, and again, stretch them from the timeline because everything's adjustable in here. So you can see that I can very easily just have this voiceover that's been prepared and I can just have it play beautifully automatically for me. I can also go ahead and adjust any of the effects. So again, I can make it my brand in here. So I can use my color palette in here. I'll go for white in here, but maybe in the animations, the highlight will be something different. So I could go for something like this, for example, and you can see that's already kind of changing the vibe of what I wanted for this whole effect to be. And also I can change the roundness of my text. I can change the spread of my text. So you can see that these captions act as normal, regular text, but you can make them on brand. And again, the styles from the new library are really fun, really elevate the experience, as you can see in here. So every video can really become your own, but with the set of very beautiful automatic captions. Next up, we have AI video effects, and this one is so much fun, but it's also a small practical tool, especially if you're like a photographer, a travel creator, a coach with a great brand shoot, anyone who really has beautiful still images sitting on their hard drive, but not a lot of video footage to work with, because what it does is that it takes a photo you already have and turns it into a short creative video scene, which means you can create content for your reels that looks fun, but also doesn't require you to film anything at all. It's almost like a fun trend now too. Let me show you where to find it. To access AI video effects, all you have to do is to jump to templates, and you should see them as the first option. Now, if you don't see them, don't worry. All of these updates are going to be rolling out gradually to all the different accounts. So if you don't see them now, don't worry. They're coming to you very, very soon. Now, if I jump to see all of them at once, you can see how many different fun options we've got in here, and all of them are generated based on a single photo. So let's start with something very simple like this copy machine. I'm going to click on it and you can see they get prompted to add an image. If I click on it, from here I can choose from my uploads, or I can upload something specific that I want. I've just taken a selfie before recording this video, so I can create one with AI, and let's make Canva do its magic on our static image. And voila, our video effect is ready. So you can see this little kind of printer effect. Now I can download it as is, or I can just open it in the editor just like that. And you can see that it just takes me in here, and that can become a part of my reel. So again, I have this video in here that I recorded about the video updates that I'm talking about in here. I could very easily, when I talk about the AI video updates, just grab one of those and just place it within my reel. And that's how easy it is to just incorporate them in here for just some fun effects. So let's try another one. Let me try this one. I've not really seen many people use it before, so let me just find a photo that could work in here. Let's use this one. And also know that at this point, you don't have to wait for it. You can actually just close it as the prompt says, and it will just appear as the processing bottom bit in here. And you will be able to then kind of open it, go to it. You'll see the result just like I've seen with the copy machine before. And while it generates, you can see that it's not only for people, it's also for products. So you can see this jewelry one in here, which is like the kind of sand on the desert. You can see this this phone one in here, which would be really cool for a product as well. Winter reveal as well. So play around with these. You can see the billboard in here, super cool. There are so many little fun effects that you can incorporate just to make something a little bit more creative. All right, perfect. We can see the result right now. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, so just added some foliage, some plants in here for me. You can see that the eyes got a little bit funny, but the movement is pretty natural. It's only kind of a little bit of something in here that just started kind of working for me. So again, I can take it into my video editor and just start working with it. So it's a pretty cool effect. It also painted my nails, I can see. So again, we're getting creative in here, right? So by all means, have fun with these. I love this cruise one. This is something that I've seen online as content very, very much since the launch of Canva AI 2.0. So play around with it. Let me know what you think and what your results are. By the way, if you want to try any of the pro features for free, go grab your 30-day Canva Pro trial for $0, which gives you a full month to explore everything at no cost. So it's worth playing around with and testing what the full Canva experience can do for you. All right, next up, we have image to video, and it also got a massive upgrade. Now, we've had had this feature for a while, but the clips were only 3 seconds long, which is if you create any type of content, you know it was quite limiting when you're trying to use them inside like Reel or add them to short form edit in general. The quality has also improved too, so the motion is a little more natural and more cinematic now. And with these clips being 5 seconds instead of 3 now, you just have so much more to work with when you're putting a video together. Now, I feel like for content especially, being able to use static images and turn them into videos is so useful. So let's say I have this static image from the Canva library. Now, a very important note at this point is that you cannot use image to video on Pro assets from the library. So if you're on Canva Pro, what you can do is to jump in and filter by free, and that's going to give you all the different free options in here. And of course, this can work on any of your uploads. However, if you try to use image to video on a Pro asset, you will be given a prompt to say that you cannot really do it. So if I went to grab something like this, for example, and I went to edit it with the image to video, you can see that image to video doesn't work on Pro Media. So this is very important to note at the very beginning. Again, you can see that I'm already in the video file that I've used before with this AI kind of effect in here. So we're just kind of building on it, if that makes sense. And I have this image attached to the background. I know it says 5 seconds, but this is only the duration that the photo takes in here. So you can jump to edit, and to access image to video, all you have to do is to jump under tools, and you see this little butterfly in here. If I click on it, you can use the smart option. So that's going to just generate as is. Let me use that option for you to see what it does. Now, at this point, all you have to do is to click add video to design. And there's one thing that actually at the moment is a bit of a glitch. Normally, what you would get with this feature is a little bit of a preview of your video. However, in here, you can see that I didn't see a preview, so I couldn't kind of check what the result is. I hope this glitch gets resolved very soon, because actually when I was testing it for weeks before, it was actually fine. It's just today, just my luck, when I was trying to record this, it actually just gave me a little bit of a weird effect. However, just how to fix it if you don't see the kind of video preview, I can see it very easily, but if you don't see it on your end, just go to the trim mode and you'll be able to see what it does. Now, the fact that the smart one is kind of good enough to understand what the hand gestures may be is pretty great. But what I found, especially with like hand videos or, someone holding a cup or something, it very often tries to add a lot of a dynamic kind of effects, if that makes sense, which is cool. But sometimes it results in something like this, where there's a very, very drastic zoom in. So you can see that it's trying to get very, very granular, which again, it can work, but it may not work fully for you. So this is something to keep in mind. And that's why I actually prefer to use the custom prompt in here. And that's going to give you a better result. Let me just show that to you. I'll jump to edit, image to video, and then I'm going to go to custom. And from here, I'm going to describe my ideal motion effect. So I'm saying static shot again, just to make sure that I'm holding the camera, or Canva AI is holding the camera static, and then the hands gently move away from view. Let's generate this 5-second video and see what it gives me. Okay, I've got the result. I've just added it in here. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Perfect. So it's much better. It's not that dynamic zoom in. Now, would I probably try to tweak the prompt ever so slightly just to have that kind of hand gesture a little bit more natural? Yes, I probably would. However, I feel like for something so quick, that I was able to just add that into kind of my reel, if that makes sense. This is super cool because we're creating something that's moving from a very static image, which is really, really great. And then we have video building blocks, which is probably my favorite Canva Create 2026 feature out of everything we're covering today. And I think if you've ever looked at a fun reel on Instagram that also performed well for the creator and then thought, how did this person make it work so well? This may be a huge help. The idea of recreating something like that yourself can feel like a lot of work when you're not used to it. And for me, the feature is not only inspiring because it can help guide you as to what to record and how to edit, but it's also bridging that gap between having good taste and knowing what video would look good and having the skills to pull it off. Just like templates have helped democratize design before, Canva has put together a curated library of ready-to-use video hooks, text effects, and sound effects that you can drop straight into your video and then adapt to your own brand and your own content style. So instead of staring at your footage and trying to figure out how to open a video in a way that just grabs attention or how to make information on screen actually look interesting, you've got a whole set of building blocks to start from that are already structured to perform, and all you have to do is to make them yours. And what I love about this is beyond just the obvious time saving is that it can actually teach you a lot about what makes a video work just by using these and seeing how they're put together. To find our video building blocks, all you have to do is to jump into the templates again. And now this is something that trips up a lot of people because they expected to find it here. However, you have to select video as the category in here. And then under AI video effects, you see engage viewers with video building blocks. Now this is a gold mine. This is a treasure chest really for different things. You can see video hooks, video sound effects, and video text effects. Let's jump into video hooks first, just to show you what kinds of different inspiring things you can create with it. Now you can see different kind of effects that look like this. You can see kind of the recording stuff. So this is what I was talking about when I said this can be kind of inspiring for you, because you can see what you can record from which angle. You can analyze that video that was kind of inserted for you by Canva with this video building block, and then use it as an inspiration to record your own stuff. So you can see something very simple like this one that you can use as the basis of your video that would be that engaging hook to get the people to kind of keep watching the video very easily without you having to have the knowledge on how to build all of this, and also just have the time to spend on building, like, for example, this messaging kind of back and forth, right? So this is something super cool. I want to use this video building block in here. So you can just jump in here and click customize this template. So it works very similarly to all the different templates that we've got in the Canva library. You can also start these video building blocks as well. So I'll click customize this template, and this takes me straight into the video editor where I can take it further. Now let's expand this timeline in here for us just to see how this whole video was built. And you can see that in here, I've got all the different elements. I've got this kind of top panel in here. I've got this online text in here, and I have this beautiful transition from online to offline, just like that. And again, as the baseline of this video, you have these two clips that you can use as inspiration to record. And this is something that I've done before recording this video, just so I can show you what this gives you as a capability, if that makes sense. I'm just going to drag and drop my original video in here, and you can see that it's going to upload just as usual, and I can use the basis of this kind of video building block to use as my same kind of movement. So I'm just going to drag the transparency ever so slightly and find the moment where I'm kind of doing the same thing with the clip. So this is the moment where I'm kind of sliding my finger. So what I want to do is to just kind of mark it almost, and I'm going to make sure that this, I'm going to grab it from that point. I've shortened it, and then just gonna kind of make this appear where I'm going to be kind of making that movement, if that makes sense. So let's just drop that transparency back up, not drop, but increase it. And then from here, I can, of course, move it to the bottom just like that. And let's see how it works. Now, as you can see, it actually went the other way. So I recorded with mirroring effect, which I shouldn't have. So I can just flip it horizontally and see how it works in here. Cool. So what I need to do is to just trim it ever so slightly just for this to appear even quicker. Perfect. I think this aligns pretty well. And you can see in here that Canva has different tips dropped into your timeline. Sometimes with these video blocks, you'll see them as an extra page at the very end, which is very easy to read and remove. But you have to be on the lookout for those just because it tells you what you can do just to make the most out of this building block. So in here, you can see Canva tip, sync your text and graphic animations with actions in your video for a more engaging and immersive feel. And this is something that I've done in here based on my kind of original recording that I had at the bottom in here. So let me just remove that bit in here. But if I go to transparency and drop it, just so you can see this kind of lady in here was moving around and just did a little bit of a kind of a gesture in here. What I've done, just because I knew these different elements at the top were appearing all of a sudden, I wanted to make sure that I'm kind of also showing a bit of like a fun movement that feels more like me. So this is something that I've done in here, and you can see that it's emulating exactly the same thing that we've done. Of course, could I have worked on a better angle? This was a very, very quick kind of recording, but you can see how easy it is to just throw something in there. And then from here, you can customize it to your own styles as well. So I could go for this kind of yellow and change it into my, my kind of blue at the top in here. So you can see that I can customize it very, very easily. And even with this yellow in here, I could very easily just change and swap it to a different color just to make sure that I'm kind of more on brand with it, if that makes sense. So again, try to play around with it, try to make it work for you. And then, whatever else you do with these effects, you can very easily just create something of your own. So these are built to be customizable. You can also swap out these elements at the top if you want to. So you can see that I ended up with something like this, and you can hear the sounds that were added in here as well, right? So you've got the old monitor PC switching on, you've got this swoosh effect, you then have this notification ping. So again, let me play this for you from the start to the finish. Cool. And if I wanted to, I could make it more dynamic. So after the transition, I could just cut it from here and then, of course, kind of move the part in here, because you can see that with the bottom bit, you can see that there's like a bit of movement. So this is what I'm saying in terms of like inspiration and also learning how things are built to make your edits a little bit better and also to make your recording session a little bit easier as well. Let's jump back into our templates, and I'm going to jump into video again, and then let's go to video text effects. So from here, again, something very, very similar. I always say, and I always recommend, to add text in the first seconds of your video, just to make sure that you're visualizing and almost promising something to your audience that they will get after watching your video, if that makes sense. So it's almost like a visual hook on top of just that value proposition of your video. So this is kind of what it does very often. Still can decide between something, lessons from, whatever, 5 money mistakes. It doesn't have to be the text that you're focused on. You can also use it as an outline, if that makes sense. You can use it as a layout for your stuff. So my unpopular opinion, you've got the overlays in here in different forms. So you've got this kind of text that feels a bit more tactile because it's more of a journal or a scrapbook kind of feel. You see how many different options you've got that you can play around with. And of course, you can also copy. So you can copy to your own videos and then make them your own, make them on brand as well. My skincare holy grail. You can see that there are animations preloaded in there as well. Let me use that one very quickly. So let's customize this template real quick. And again, as I've mentioned before, Canva tip, use bold text with a solid background to highlight your message and then add a sound effect for impact. So Canva's really teaching you. It's not just leaving you with this video building blocks. It's teaching you how to use them or how to make your videos more engaging. So really pay attention to those and take them to heart. I'm going to remove it at the moment. And what I could do is to grab it from here very easily, and I can just put the videos underneath in here, and you can see that it added different kind of effects as well, sound effects as well. So let me play this one, but without this audio because I don't want it to be taken down by YouTube. So this is what you can see. Little pops in here, very quick kind of succession of different photos or different short clips in here. So this is something that you can find inspiration with very, very easily. So let me just grab this whole text in here. I could very easily just jump into my original video in here and just paste it just like that. So you can see that it pastes very, very easily on top of my video, and I can just have the same done with the audio effects. So I can just grab them from here as well and just copy them to my original video. So again, you can use them from the timeline if you're starting with them as a starting point, or you can very quickly just paste them over your video. So this is something that I wanted to show you. And of course, I can tweak the sizing of it and the kind of placement of it just to make sure that I'm kind of adjusting it, right? Again, would I play around with with the placement of it? Absolutely, I would. I can, kind of stretch it out. I can make it shorter just like this. I could maybe make it more dynamic by shortening these distances in here. So whatever works for you, you can kind of make it happen. You can make it smaller or bigger. You can reposition it to the place that would fit your video as well. So, if I wanted this to be at the top and go in here, or if I wanted to make it ever so slightly smaller just so that it fits with the captions underneath, I could do that in here as well. And I can, make it whatever I want and make it my own. I could change the colors of these little kind of pop-ups in here. But this is how you make use of this, and this is how you just make it much more fun and creative with your text effects using this video building blocks. I'm back in my room from Canva Create 2026, and these are the features. Now drop me a comment below and tell me which one of these 4 updates you're most excited to try, because that genuinely want to know. And I also want to hear what your struggles or questions are about video editing in Canva or in general. If you haven't watched my full Canva Create 2026 video yet, there are so many more updates in there that are just as exciting. So make sure you go and watch that one right now. Like and hype this video. It really helps the channel a ton. Subscribe so you don't miss any of the deep dives that I have coming for you. And there's a lot more I have in store. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.